ProductAwesome.com. For product people by product people.
So today's episode is targeted at product leaders looking to consistently hire successful product managers. What's the core skill set that you want to hire for product managers? The ability to work with distributed teams, cross-functional teams that are distributed across geographies, across different cultures, across different time zones. Then there's AI. And there are multiple sides to it. AI is changing the game, and it's changing pretty much everything that we do, how we do it, the velocity. There's also the ethical side connected to it. And so there's a question of, should we build the product? The role of the product manager changing very quickly, very rapidly. The business environment really focused on outcomes as opposed to outputs, going over and above the jobs to be done framework and ultimately the product market fit, and to think about the model behind your product. It's about thinking your market model fit. It's about thinking the distribution channels of your product. It's about thinking your model channel fit. And it's about thinking your product channel fit. So in other words, it's this business acumen, business strategy that is becoming more and more relevant for product managers. And it's absolutely critical. Essential skill. Hi guys, and welcome to ProductAwesome.com. The role of the product manager is changing very quickly, and in today's episode I'm going to break down the must-have skills for product managers. So today's episode is targeted at product leaders looking to consistently hire successful product managers, and also targeted at product managers that want to ensure their skill set, their knowledge stays relevant. So the role of the product manager is changing very quickly. We are rapidly moving from a place where actually consistent and repeatable output was key to a place where consistent and repeatable outcomes are key. So it's that shift from output to outcome. And AI and data-driven decision-making are no longer buzzwords. They are core to what we do, how we work as product people. And it's not just about understanding the AI landscape and the technology connected to it. It's not just about understanding how to exploit AI within our products to add customer value. It's about ultimately exploiting AI in our day-to-day to ensure that we become more efficient, to ensure that we are able to move even faster. Okay, so given this, what's the core skill set that you want to hire for product managers? And I'm going to start with business acumen, and I'm going to start really with strategic vision. And this is all about the ability of connecting company-wide strategy, company-wide OKRs to ultimately your product, your metrics. And it's about understanding the economics of your product. It's about understanding that there's a cost of customer acquisition. It's about understanding what that number looks like. And also understanding that there's a customer lifetime value, and therefore how does your customer lifetime value and your cost of customer acquisition compare? And therefore, it's really about going over and above the jobs to be done framework and ultimately the product market fit, and to think about the model behind your product. It's about thinking your market model fit. It's about thinking the distribution channels of your product. It's about thinking your model channel fit. And it's about thinking your product channel fit. So in other words, it's this business acumen, business strategy that is becoming more and more relevant for product managers. And it's absolutely critical. Essential skills. Data-driven decision making. Now, that is really not just about the ability to work with data, to pull data, the familiarity with certain data platforms and tools. It's about the ability to ultimately analyze that data and then concisely output and outline a certain number of key kind of insights. And then articulate those insights in a very clear way to internal and external stakeholders as needed. So that's absolutely fundamental, absolutely critical. And actually, it's not just that. It's about the ability to join the quantitative data to the qualitative data. So as product people, we need to understand how users are interacting with our product. We need to understand things that are more qualitative. And for example, I'm thinking like user testing. I'm thinking about insight on the back of user testing sessions. And then ultimately, hey, how do you join the qualitative assessment, the qualitative side to the quantitative side? So data-driven decision making, absolutely fundamental and critical. Then there's stakeholder management, stakeholder communication. So this is really about the understanding that as a product manager, you're typically leading people as opposed to managing people. And therefore, it's the ability to work with a wide variety of people, both within your cross-functional team and within the wider business environment. You need to be able to connect with a wide variety of personalities, of cultures, people that may be in very different locations and geographies, etc., etc. So the ability to storytell, the ability to establish a quick relationship with people. So absolutely fundamental and critical. Then there's AI. And there are multiple sides to it. AI is changing the game, and it's changing pretty much everything that we do, how we do it, the velocity, the speed, etc., etc. So there's a side to it, which is the understanding of the technology. And that can be an understanding of things like supervised learning, things like unsupervised learning, things like reinforcement learning, things like recommendation systems, things like generative AI, large language models, etc., etc. So an understanding of the actual technology behind AI and how it can be used, and how it can be exploited within our products. But then there's also the ethical side connected to it. And this is incredibly important and fundamental. So as product people, typically from a risk management perspective, we kind of like focus on value risk. So, hey, is what we are about to build valuable from a customer perspective? We focus on usability risk. Are our users going to be able to use the product? We focus on business viability in terms of the actual business model behind the product. And of course, we also focus on feasibility, i.e., are we going to be able to actually build that product? But that's not enough now. There's also, there are also ethical considerations. And so there's a question of, should we build the product? And so this, when it comes to AI, it's really also the understanding that certain algorithms baked into the product, hey, how do they actually work? Is there a bias element that needs to be considered? Are there, what are the ethical considerations behind it? I'm thinking also about things like automated decision making, etc., etc., etc. So fundamental. So the AI side connected to the product manager role. And then there are a few other things that I feel like in a post-COVID era are also equally important and equally fundamental. And I'm thinking about the ability to work with distributed teams. So many a times as product people, we have cross-functional teams that are distributed across geographies, across different cultures, across different time zones. So it's the ability to actually lead teams that are very diverse and keep people engaged and make sure that you can really get the best out of people that you work with. So that is, again, a fundamental skill for product managers in the post-COVID era. Okay, perfect. So I'm just going to quickly recap so just to a quick summary. The role of the product manager changing very quickly, very rapidly. The business environment really focused on outcomes as opposed to outputs. So we explored obviously the AI side to it, the changes that AI brought. And therefore, from a core skill set perspective, we explored the business acumen, the strategic vision that product managers need to have, equally data-driven decision making. We looked and explored the stakeholder management side of the role, communication skills, AI literacy, and the ethical element connected to AI. And finally, we also explored the ability to actually work effectively and efficiently with distributed teams. So teams distributed across a variety and a number of geographies and territories and time zones and cultures. Okay, thank you for watching. I look forward to the next episode where we will be exploring the product designer role, and we will break down the skill set that you want to look for when hiring product designers.
ProductAwesome.com. For product people by product people.